This is a take two. I tried a video on this the other day, but I did such a bad job of it. I thought I'd do another one. So just for memory lane's sake, this is a realistic walkie-talkie that used the CB radio band. You know, I remember a bit of dog damage on it, but you know, this is really just a trip down memory lane. Those of us who are old enough to remember CB, I was 13, I think, in 1985. There wasn't much going on really. I mean, there was, in a global sense, lots going on, but when you're 13 living in a place like I was in Thornbury, you know, we were lucky. Betamax was about as exciting as it got in those days. There was still black and white stuff on telly and everything else. But you know, when a film called Convoy came out with these Americans in their trucks on the CB Citizens Band radios, it made a big impression on us, and everyone wanted to get into CB. You know, we walked as kids. I think we walked about 8 miles to go to a garage called Yellow Brick Breakers just to see their CB radios. You know, never could afford one, but to say we all wanted a CB was putting it mildly. So the only real choice for pocket money sort of thing was to get a portable CB radio. Now, this isn't the same as the one I had. I had a Harvard with, I think, 2-channel portable CB, but it was very similar to this sort of thing. So it was affordable and enabled you to at least try and contact people on CB. So you used to walk around, you know, trying to get a handle, I think it was called, you know, breaker 14 for a copy, and no one would call you back. And then every now and then, if you were really lucky, and it did happen to me, someone would call you back and you'd have a conversation. You'd pick a channel or pick a window or something like that. Say CB had its own little language. I remember getting a cassette tape of you know, all the different ways of talking on CB. I don't really know why it had its own language, but it had its own sort of slang language. You had to be respectful as well. You couldn't swear on it because you'd be in trouble with Ofcom apparently, and everyone was a bit scared of getting in trouble for saying the wrong thing on it. Certainly swearing was off limits. Yeah, before mobile phones were certainly within the hands of mere mortals. They might have been for the very super rich, but yeah, CB was mobile phone technology effectively, and we had a great time with it. My CB portable handset was quite, you know, didn't have much range, but a friend of mine in school, Mike Cole, his dad was a long distance lorry driver, and he had a really powerful home rig, as they were called, and he set that up. So one morning at 8 o'clock or whatever, I was able to have a conversation with Mike before school on our CBs, where you know, they could just about hear me and I could easily hear them like they were in the other room, because theirs was much powerfuler sort of transmitter. There was also a lad up the road who called himself the Rainbow Warrior. That was his handle, and he had a really powerful CB set, and he used to bleed over the channels. So you'd cut, you know, he'd fill about 3 or 4 channels at once. I'm not sure how he did it. And he had an echo machine, so he used to say, "I am the Rainbow Warrior." And, you know, if you got him, he wouldn't really respond, or, you know, he wasn't able to pick up my CB. But you know, he was just an ordinary lad really, but on CB it sounded like he was all powerful really. So just a trip down memory lane. You know, Citizens Band radio, 1985. You know, it was really cool at the time. You know, bit of static, push to talk. You know, but an awful lot of fun for us youngsters. So there you have it. Unfortunately, the airways are fairly quiet these days, but I'm sure there's still people that use CBs. I'm sure there is. I wouldn't know much about that, but there you are. For those who are interested, CB radio from the 80s.